inspired by real-life events. Narrator Adrian Cole woke up at 3:13 a.m. inside a sealed global energy control command center beneath Dubai, with emergency power grid collapse, warnings flashing across massive plasma displays, and an international energy security director saying, "Your authorization sequence initiated an unsanctioned planetary energy redistribution event affecting multiple continental power grids." And in that instant, his entire world collapsed because just hours earlier, he was a senior energy systems engineer working for a multinational power infrastructure consortium responsible for stabilizing global electricity networks, renewable energy synchronization systems, and AI-driven power distribution grids. And now he was being treated as the central cause of a classified energy crisis that nearly triggered a worldwide blackout cascade across multiple continents. And the first shock wasn't fear. It was disbelief so intense. It felt like even electricity itself had started behaving like a conscious system reacting to him. Because Adrian's entire career was built on maintaining global energy stability, preventing grid failures, and ensuring electrical infrastructure remained balanced under extreme load conditions. But now those same systems were defining him as the operator who initiated a cascading global power redistribution event he had no memory of activating, and within hours, his energy clearance was suspended, his biometric grid key frozen under international infrastructure security law, his apartment sealed for forensic energy network reconstruction, and internal power telemetry logs labeled him as primary anomaly in distributed global energy escalation event. And Adrian sat in the interrogation chamber, replaying his last operational cycle, remembering grid synchronization audits, power load balancing simulations, renewable integration calibrations, and then a gap, an unexplained missing execution window between 12:07 a.m. and 1:41 a.m., where global energy systems showed his authentication profile, issuing high-level redistribution override commands across multiple continental grids simultaneously. But he had no memory of initiating any of those actions, and when investigators showed him synchronized energy telemetry, displaying autonomous power rerouting sequences, industrial shutdown patterns, and emergency grid stabilization failures unfolding under his credentials across Europe, Asia, and North America, Adrian immediately said, "That's not me. I never activated those systems." But the lead energy security director replied coldly, "The network has already verified complete execution integrity across all power layers." And that sentence shattered his understanding, because it meant identity inside energy systems was no longer about human intention or physical action. It was about validated system execution across interconnected infrastructure, powering entire civilizations. And by sunrise, he was released under continuous international surveillance, while global energy intelligence networks had already internally classified him as a high-risk planetary infrastructure destabilization vector. And outside the facility, Adrian stood beneath the blazing desert skyline of Dubai, watching endless city lights flicker across skyscrapers powered by invisible, synchronized grids, while billions of watts of energy flowed through systems no single human could fully comprehend. And that night, he received a message through an encrypted power grid relay saying, "If you want to understand the energy event, come to sublevel chamber grid 0 beneath the abandoned Global Energy Observatory. No devices." And despite knowing it could permanently erase whatever remained of his life, he went, Because when a system defines you as the trigger of planetary energy instability, truth becomes more important than survival. And deep beneath the abandoned observatory, he met Dr. Selena Ward, a former global energy architecture specialist who specialized in grid integrity and autonomous power system anomaly reconstruction. And she didn't soften the reality. She immediately showed him reconstructed energy flow pathways and said, "Your identity wasn't physically present inside the energy control layer. It was replicated through a live authentication relay embedded inside the global power network." And Adrian instantly said, "Then I can prove I didn't do it." But Selena replied, "You're still thinking like someone inside human engineering accountability systems, not like someone inside autonomous energy infrastructures, where execution itself becomes accepted physical reality once the grid stabilizes around it." And she explained that the incident wasn't a single rogue command, but a coordinated manipulation of global energy systems, where authentication signatures could be mirrored into AI-driven grid frameworks, allowing massive power redistribution cascades to propagate under legitimate operator identities while erasing conflicting load balancing logs across redundant infrastructure layers. And Adrian's profile had been selected because his operational history showed exceptional stability across global energy systems with near-zero anomaly deviation, making him the perfect attribution anchor for rapid containment of a globally catastrophic infrastructure failure. And suddenly, the case wasn't just about a blackout event. It was about identity replication inside infrastructure capable of controlling the physical energy that powers civilization itself. And Selena offered him a choice: step away and let the system finalize him as the architect of the planetary energy collapse, or help her trace the internal grid relay chain before it was permanently overwritten by automated energy containment protocols designed to preserve planetary stability at any cost. And Adrian stood in silence, listening to distant electrical hums vibrating through underground transformers beneath the facility, thinking about how modern civilization was nothing more than controlled flow of energy, disguised as stability, thinking about years of engineering work spent trying to prevent exactly this kind of systemic collapse, and thinking about how fragile identity becomes when even electricity can carry your name as an executable command. And finally said, "If my identity has already been used to manipulate global energy systems without my consent, then I have nothing left to protect except the truth itself." And that decision pulled him into a hidden layer of global energy infrastructure where nothing remained stable. Because every grid log they analyzed was actively recalculating itself in real time, every power trace they followed kept shifting, as if the entire planetary energy system itself was adapting to their investigation. And soon they discovered the breach wasn't foreign sabotage, but internal privilege abuse involving a senior energy systems architect who had been quietly rerouting authentication sessions to conceal unauthorized predictive energy control experiments hidden inside global optimization programs. And Adrian's identity had been selected as the central attribution anchor because it aligned perfectly with automated energy incident resolution systems designed for rapid containment of politically catastrophic infrastructure failures. And one night, while analyzing live grid telemetry streams from an isolated offline energy node, Adrian saw something that completely shattered his understanding. His credentials were actively initiating real-time power redistribution across global grids, while he was physically disconnected from all energy systems. And Selena immediately said, "They're continuously simulating your identity inside the energy layer to preserve the operational narrative." And Adrian realized he wasn't just being blamed after the event, he was being continuously reconstructed inside a live planetary energy system capable of influencing civilization itself. And pressure escalated rapidly as anonymous containment directives began appearing on secured channels, instructing him to terminate investigation or face permanent classification as a global infrastructure threat entity. And sleep disappeared completely. Trust collapsed entirely. And even silence felt like monitored electrical feedback. And at one breaking point, Adrian whispered, "I thought energy systems existed to power humanity, but maybe they exist to decide who gets to control reality itself." And Selena replied, "Systems don't preserve truth, they preserve balance." And that realization changed everything inside him, because he stopped trying to defend his identity and started focusing only on exposing the mechanism. And as they dug deeper, they uncovered encrypted relay nodes inside global energy infrastructure, continuously generating synthetic grid histories to distribute blame across multiple operational identity profiles in real time. And Adrian's profile had been amplified as the primary attribution point because it minimized global panic and allowed rapid closure of the energy crisis without exposing deeper corruption inside worldwide infrastructure systems. And when they finally compiled enough verified encrypted evidence to trigger international energy oversight escalation, containment protocols activated immediately, attempting to erase grid histories across mirrored planetary systems worldwide. And Selena said, "This is where most people are permanently absorbed into official versions of how the world stays powered." And Adrian replied, "Then I'll be the anomaly they can't switch off." And together they transmitted secured evidence chains to efficient international oversight authorities, while preserving decentralized, encrypted backups across isolated energy nodes. And within days, the investigation escalated into a worldwide infrastructure corruption probe, exposing identity replication abuse, autonomous grid manipulation, and coordinated energy system exploitation across governments, corporations, and intelligence sectors, and arrests followed within senior global energy architecture divisions. And when it was over, Adrian stood alone beneath the glowing night sky of Dubai, watching endless waves of electricity-powered light stretch across the city, as if nothing had ever happened. Realizing that the most dangerous truth about advanced systems is not that they fail, but that they can assign failure to a single identity and make it appear physically undeniable. And a week later, when he met Selena for the last time beneath the dim glow of dormant power arrays, she asked him, "What did this change in you?" And Adrian looked at the endless energy streams flowing through the systems and said, "It showed me that identity inside systems is never power. It is assigned control." And she asked, "And what did you gain?" And after a long silence, he replied, "The understanding that truth doesn't survive inside controlled infrastructure systems. It survives only in the people who refuse to accept a version of themselves generated to protect the stability of power itself." And as he walked away alone into the silent desert night beneath a world still glowing with controlled electricity, he finally understood the deepest reality of his journey. That sometimes life doesn't destroy you directly. It quietly assigns you the collapse of an entire civilization's power and waits to see if you accept the system's version of reality. But real survival begins the moment you refuse to become the identity a system creates to protect its own control of everything.